Arknights.
If you have played Arknights long enough, you know that randoms aren't the most scarce and precious resource. LMDs. Way too many players find themselves broke and wanting for those sweet swing lungman dollar bills. Coincidentally, base is a great source of said dollar bills, if run correctly. And what I have noticed doing account reviews on my streams, link in the description, please go follow, I'm begging on my hands and knees here, JK, unless, is that way too many people do not care to optimize their base at all. Which is completely understandable considering how daunting and overly complicated it looks from the first glance. This guide will be structured from the most basic optimization tips to breaking down some more advanced nerdy stuff. This way anyone watching can stop after any of the steps and still have their base set up in a way that provides a substantial amount of value. Please note that the author of this guide is a bit mathematically challenged, which is unsurprising. This is aimed to first and foremost simplify base for people who never got into optimizing their setups for various reasons. This isn't an ultimate all-encompassing guide by any means, but I'm trying my hardest, okay? But this should provide an average player with enough info to run their base well enough. If you desire the real in-depth stuff with numbers and tables and math, go check out Peter Wire. He makes very good educational content. Also, I am going to link the Google Doc, Arknights Base Combo Guide. That was a source for a lot of information for this guide. If you want more in-depth breakdown of everything, check it out. Huge thanks and props to all the amazing people who did the massive work of making this titanic thing. If, while watching this, you suddenly and inexplicably get the urge to get up and yell at the screen because this VTuber guy is a dingus and what he is saying is wrong, you probably didn't really need the guide in the first place. If you ever plan to truly 100% min-max your base one day, do not follow my advice and seek a better guru, for I am somewhat slightly stupid. With that out of the way, however, this is an attempt to cover the entirety of Arknights base to some extent. Hopefully this will be enough for most of you. This guide should apply for both newbie and experienced players. If you are a newer account, do not be dismayed over your lack of specific operators. There is enough teams and general good workers at lower rarity, so you can compensate for your lack of diversity in ops. Also, unless you're an actual psycho like me, who leveled Windflit for his base skill, you should not, under any circumstances, level operators solely for base reasons. Sans one very important exception we will discuss later. The investment is almost in every case not worth the value. Part 1. The absolute basics. For starters, let's assume that you have no clue what the hell is fucking here. In base, you have buildings. Control center, training room, dormitories, HR office, workshop, reception room, activity rooms, trading post, factories, and power plants. The more levels you put into the building, the more benefits you get, and the more energy it costs. PP, PP, are needed to provide said energy. So you need to have enough power plants level to be able to get your other buildings to maximum level. First things first, level up your buildings. No, seriously, you need everything max level so we can proceed. For that, you need to farm SK stages for a little bit. Use workshop to convert the carbon sticks into cement blocks that you are going to use to build and upgrade rooms. Control center upgrades require weird-ass vertebra thingies, and those you only get from stages 1-1, 1-8, 3-4, and 4-7. Here are all the additional requirements for each level. Dorms and HR office are very straightforward, but the left side of your base requires a little explanation. Do note that if you intend to be a hardcore min-maxer, level your right side of the base with caution, because it's not downgradable at the moment, and you may want to keep them on a lower level to free your energy capacity for other things. Base layout. So for simplicity's sake, I'm going to go over two main and viable base layouts, the 2x4 and 3x3. These are available to you if you want all of your buildings maxed out, including dorms. You can also keep or just downgrade your dorms at level 1. That would give you enough energy to reduce PP count to 2, making 2-5-2 and 3-4-2 setups possible. If you're raising your finger in protest and swearing by God Almighty that 1x5 or 0x0 is the most efficient layout, you clearly do not need this guide and know better than I do. So, what are these magic numbers? The first one refers to a number of trading posts, and the second to the amount of factories you're gonna build. And if there is a third one, it refers to the amount of power plants you have. Simple, right? So, what are the pros and cons of each? 2x4. Pros. It's generally easier to manage, provides a steady and stable production of battle records. Cons. It's less efficient and you cannot effectively farm red rocks with that setup. With 2x4 you generally want to put both trading posts on a precious metal orders. 2 factories are going to produce gold and the other 2 will be making you yellow battle records. This setup requires minimal management and the most you'll be doing is occasional changing BRs for gold on one of the factories. 3x3. Pros. Substantially higher LMD production, allows for a good or random farming setup, and it turns pure stream into powerhouse. More on that later. Cons. Less battle records produced, requires a lot more management. With this setup you can either go the red rock farming route or maximum LMD route. I will touch up on the former in its own separate segment, so for now we focus on just LMD printing. You're going to want to put 2 of your factories on gold production, while your third will be alternating between gold and battle records. I tend to switch it off record production when the gold reserves are starting to hit 30 to 40 units. Same logic applies to 252 and 342 setups. You just have an additional factory that can make more XP or gold depending on what you need. This setup sacrifices the morale recovery speed and makes Philae, Arketo, Senshi, Tinman, Minimalist and Narantu not really viable to use on base. Okay, we've leveled up all your buildings. Now let's talk shop. The next step is fairly simple. You go here, click here, then do this, that, and boom! You've done like 90% of your base optimization. Shout out to Shimapluya for lending me his account for this clip, thanks man. So, why leveling your Proviso is so goddamn important? Well, let's look at her abilities and gold trading fundamentals. Your posts can trade 2, 3 or 4 gold bars for an appropriate amount of LMD. The lower the amount of gold bars, the faster the order is to complete. And this haunts on E2 turns literally every gold order into either 4 or 5 bars per order, while not changing the time to get order ready. So this boosts your money printing astronomically in return. Do note that she does not work with tequila. Due to very complicated math that I do not personally understand, Proviso works best in a level 2 TP rather than level 3. This, however, only works best in a setup with 2 PPs, hehe. So we are not gonna discuss it. Why? I don't know. Smarter people than I deduce that. Part 2. Simple maintenance. So, you've built up your base and leveled your Proviso. What do? Next step is fairly simple. You stick operators into buildings corresponding to the color of their base skills. Yellow goes in factory, this yellow, not this yellow. Blue in trading post, teal in control center, orange in reception room, gray in HR office. When roughly 12 hours pass, your operators will get exhausted and you will have to put them in dorms to recover morale, so they can slave away again. While they are in dorms, replace them with another set of operators. Rinse and repeat ad nauseam. This next section is for those of you who could not be bothered with min-maxing your base and are content with simpler things in life. So, you've made your 2x4 setup, because it's the easiest one to manage. 2 of your trading posts trade gold, 2 factories make gold, and 2 make battle records. Next, You just slap your highest raw productivity operators in their respective facilities. Don't forget to include your proviso in one of the posts. Crack factories up to 99 and tap collect all like twice a day, so you never stop production. For trading posts, look out for these. For factories specifically, I would recommend putting 2 productivity enhancing ops with a capacity enhancing op to be extra lazy. Base slaves with these icons work good with battle records, and base slaves with these icons are best for gold. These are universally good, but provide little less than the 2 mentioned above. These indicate enhanced capacity. There are also dudes that enhance red rock farming, but that is going to be irrelevant here. For other facilities, just stick someone with a high % skill bonus in HR, some combination of these in reception room, and your highest % bonus drone makers in your power plants. For control center, 1 operator with this icon, 1 with this icon, and 3 with these icons, and you're golden. Don't forget to use your drones before you reach 235. Either use them on the proviso post, click the drones under order and press max, or your gold factories, click double arrow icon next to capacity and press max. This should be it for basic maintenance. The activity rooms are there just to provide trust gain and trust gain alone. They do not contribute to any other base interactions. Part 2.1 Presets. In the Lap Altar update, the base finally got something done to it in the form of introducing presets. Now base maintenance has never been easier. If you want to do minimal work while still having tangible results, this button is a godsend. Simply go to the overview menu, click on the Add Preset, make 2 presets for every facility applying everything you've seen so far, or everything you'll see later if you want to min-max, and voila! Now you only need to check it once a day. Collect all the produce, get all the trust increase, then go to Overview, click all of the shift change icons, and then send everyone who's demoralized to rest via the little button over here. Alright, so let us create a sample base rotation for people who are lazy and do not really care about getting into the nitty-gritty of base management. First things first, you need a set of 2 presets for each facility, so you can alternate between them with a push of a button. Starting with the control center, you want someone with a skill like a me in each rotation, and if you have someone like Calcid, just use her, or alternatively Monster, when they come out. Fill the rest of the slots with the smiley skills, so they don't run out of morale as quickly. Click Edit. Make another one of those. We have a paprika here, and we can add another batch of smileys. Done. Now you can freely switch between them every time you are rotating your base. Reception room doesn't really matter, just pick 2 sets of the best reception room workers you have. In my case, that would be Caper Ines plus, let's say, Vigilant Chen. Battle Record Factory, people with the XP sign, add preset, formation, add another preset, precious metals, the precious metal sign, add preset. Now you can use people who just generally good with plus 25% is already good enough. Boom, done. Same thing here, just use your generic workers for this preset, and maybe let's just assume that you E1'd your Vermeil and you have just noticed that her skill is so synergistic with people who give more capacity limit. Boom, you got another set. Repeat the same here. For trading posts, let's just pick 3 people with plus 30% productivity. Add preset, preset formation. Let's just pick Exu, since she gives a lot too, and Moose. And here, in the other one, it is very important that you always have a proviso. So proviso plus a couple people who give her plus 30%. Add additional formation. Pick Proviso again. If you have a Fiammetta to reset her. If you don't have, well, just rotate her with another set of operators. Let's say Rose Salt, and let's say Quartz. For each power plant, you want the highest drone recovery operator you have available, so the likes of Golden Glow, Grey, Lescarm are all fine. If you don't have enough of them, just add more subpar operators like Indigo or Ifrit. In the office, just get 2 people with at least 40%. And here you go, this is your entire base rotation done. Now all you need to do is just switch between operators as soon as they run out of their morale. And then you just click this button and put everyone in the dorms. Now you no longer need to care about the base at all. Took me like 5 minutes. Part 3. Minmaxing. So this section is all about squeezing out that sweet additional percentage in productivity. You achieve that by A. Not fucking up the skill mixing, B. Stacking correct skills together into combos. Some skills say that the strongest takes effect. That's an important clause. Don't fuck it up. For instance, both ex-wife and a certain dessert food provide plus 2% factory productivity. But they also don't stack. Also pay attention to other restrictions, like Grey Altar not providing you with an extra power plant account if you employ Abominable Intelligence robots in your other PPs. Hehe. PP. Hehe. Now, the biggest and most important part of the guide. Combos! There are combos that are self-contained in one facility, like Vermeil Team, or ones that span basically the entire base, like Sui Team. For the ease of use, I will talk about facility-specific combos first, then explain the multi-facility ones. Do note that most of these require your operators to be on E2. Regardless, the required minimum elite level for each operator will be displayed on screen for each combo I talk about, so you know what to look out for. Important thing to note here is the addition of dorm slot locking. Use this in multi-facility combos that need someone staying in the dorms to work, like Virtuosa, Durins with Posi, etc. So you don't need to put them back in manually every time you rotate everyone. Once again, activity rooms do not count. If you need an operator to be in any facility for the combo to work, put them anywhere but activity rooms. On another note, this guide will become outdated as new operators come out, but generally the new base skills are either most of the time quite useless or fit in or slot in to existing combos and archetypes. For instance, Lemoyne just came out and she slots perfectly well with Exia and frees up her from participating in the Penguin Logistics trio. Or Sanctum Icasparato combos with Fiammetta. Control Center. Control Center alone doesn't have that many dedicated combos, so I'm going to outline a couple useful ones and workers that you should keep in mind. Polish Horseman Team. Very simple, you put the Horseman in CC with 1 to 4 smiley skills, and everyone in your base works longer shifts. The more smileys, the longer the shifts. The best combo would be Hons plus 2 smileys, preferably Vivi, Kestrel, Flametail, or Monster for additional benefits from their second skills, and plus 2 other operators with a useful skill. R6 Control Center combo. Stick all the original R6 operators in the control room with a useful operator of your choice. Cal, Ami, Ascalon, etc. Upside. Very easy, works on E0, you can stick someone with a good skill in there indefinitely. Downside, not extracting max value out of your control center. A1 Altars. Not a team per se, but a good filler for any CC team that has altar ops in it. Just put them in if you're using Walter, Reed Altar, Jessica Altar, etc. Useful general workers. Cat Tits. Gives factories a 2% productivity buff. Podding. Does the same but needs robots and power plants to do it. Monster. Does the same thing as Cat Tits, but a little better because she has a smiley skill. Ami, Paprika, Swire, Ascalon for plus 7% in trading posts. Ascalon is the best out of the 3 because she also buffs Training Room. Lazy and Uck for finding specific clues, and Lee for clue collection speed. Clue collection ain't that important, so 9 out of 10 times you shouldn't bother with the last 3. E2 Psylocke deserves special mention here because she is vital for combos that involve suboptimal HR operators like Vesperian, Mulberry, etc. because she makes up for that lacking contracting speed with her skill. Dorms. There is only one actually notable interaction in Dorms, and it's Fiametta. She works on E0 and basically allows you to exchange her morale with another operator. For that you just need to select the half-dead operator in the dorm and then select Fia. Best use cases for her: refreshing your Proviso, so she has 100% uptime in trading posts, or using her on Mlinerv to prolong his global morale buffs. Factory. Vermeil/Bubble or Order Limit teams. Fairly easy, you just slap a Vermeil or Bubble, they don't stack with each other, and 2 other operators who increase Order Limit as much as possible. These are good for anything, these are good for experience, with Cat combo being the best for it, and Tuya is good for gold. Use order cap bigger than 16 with Bubble, namely Bene and Vulcan, and any other order cap with Vermeil. Overall difference between them is negligible. Bryophyta or Metalwork team. Once again, fairly simple deal, put in 1 lifeguard boy and 2 people who have metalwork in their resume. Get big numbers. Best ones are Thorn's Altar and Gravel. Standardization team. This one is a bit more complicated and has multiple ways you can use it depending on your operators. Level 1 is Mizuki plus any of these. They will give you 90% production, for he benefits from having standard skills in his factory. Next level is adding Highmore to the mix. Now you can plop her with Mizuki and one of the penis Sylvester's girls in one factory, while having the other 2 work somewhere else. Slap a Justice Knight in a power plant and a Flametail in a command center, more on that in the Knight combo section, and you're looking at 100+% productivity here. Highmore makes all skills into standard skills, though they in turn start working with Mizuki. That basically allows you to combine Mizuki with a very efficient Knight combo. A1 team. Very easy. Drop a Fang Altar and a normal Fang with Cruise in there to get a 85% productivity when they fully ramp up their effects. Dorothy Rhine team. Another self-explanatory one, drop in the Jerboa, Silence but without glasses, and another E2 Rhine op for a solid 95% boost. Waifu plus Aroma. Aroma on E2 has a maximum productivity of 45 all by herself, which is only compounded by her self-morale drain. Waifu removes morale drain from people working with her and yanks 40% of their productivity for herself. If this isn't a match made in heaven, I don't know what is. Slap them together, add a 3rd wheel, and you can easily reach numbers above 100%. And here are some of the most notable workers you can get that are just generally good and work with everyone. For experience, Conviction, Crown Slayer, Feater, and Leto, but you have to have Gummy in Trading Post. For gold, Pure Stream, Almond, Gravel, Fong's Altar. For a random, Chestnut, Aya, Earth Spirit, Ceylon, and Lava. And as generalist workers, Minimalist, Marsil, Silence Altar, Mayor, and Waifu are all pretty good. Trading Post. First, using your Saul Goodman with Tits and Horse Ears. Basically, it comes down to pairing her with 2 operators with the highest available productivity. Notable pairs are Exo and Lemoyne, Siege and Morgan, Jae and Silverash, or just 2 generally good workers like Heidi, Quartz, Underflow with Ulpinis somewhere in the base. Do keep in mind there is also an option for using her in a level 2 trading post with just your best singular worker. One would be Mr. Nothing in a Worldly Plied maxing combo, but I'm too stupid to explain the math behind the benefits of that. J and Order Limit combo. The one everyone talks about when it comes to base, mainly because promoting him further than E0 kinda hurts this combo. Kinda. The math behind it can be confusing, but in reality it's quite simple. The more order limit you have in a post, the more productivity J will give you. Swire Altar does the same thing but kinda worse, because she only counts order limit provided by other ops, while J counts base order limit provided by trading post and stuff from other operators. Best pair him with anyone who gives order limit, Silver Ash, E2 and Roast Salt being the best ones. J plus Spanish Gremlin would make an effective combo for Proviso. If your J is E1, he gets a funky and not that useful second skill that drops order limit for every 10% productivity coming from other ops in the post, but fret not. You can still make his team work wonders if you have a Gnosis in the control center. Pair him with 2 Karlan operators, like Silver Ash or his sisters. Gnosis drops their productivity by 15%, thus eliminating J's E1 downside. Swire Altar can slot into that comp too. She basically doubles the bonus that J gives while providing some additional productivity herself. Posse team. Flop down an E2 Posse, E2 Kirara, and E2 Tuya, and have at least 4 of the short kings/queens be assigned everywhere in the base. Dorms are fine too. Just don't put them in the activity rooms. Yeah, that doesn't work. This combo works off the amount of gold production lines, with Tuya and Posse getting massive buffs from all the imaginary gold production created by Durin and Kirara. Do note that this comp works better the more natural gold producing factories you have, with 110 productivity at 2 gold factories and a whopping 165 at 5. Don't know why you go for 5, but you know, you do you. Chimera team. One of the best gold making teams you can have besides having a build Proviso, and the only other team you can consider building for base purposes. E2 Chimera plus Tequila plus one of these result in having 90% productivity and a very high chance of getting a 4-bar order, thus proccing Tequilas plus 250/500 LMD out of nowhere. Do note that Tequila does not work with Proviso. Stop trying that. Would be too good. That's what Yostar thinks. Yeah. Penguin team. Very easy to use. Slap E2 Texas, Lepipi and Exo and get 100% efficiency. Boom. Plain and simple. Do note that while Texas and Lapland only work well together, like the dysfunctional Lebanese couple they are, Exo is only there to mitigate Texas's exhaustion from being in close proximity to Lepipi. And Exo can work perfectly well without the other two, like being paired with Lemuel. In addition, Tex Lap pair by themselves provide a whopping 65% productivity, so they can be used with other ops like Proviso or E0J, since Lapland gives order limit +4. Glasgow team. Very easy to accomplish and extremely efficient. It's based around E2 Morgan. Just shove her and 2 other Glasgow members in and boom, instant +60. This can be achieved entirely off the back of 3 welfare operators, and you don't even need to level all but one of them. If you got Siege and Siege Altar E2, you can bump it up to 150, and an E2 Belle Delphine in Command Center bumps it up to 135%. On a separate note, Morgan plus Siege is one of the best duos to pair with Proviso. Angel Sister combo. Another simple one Exo stars in. Works with both of her versions, but the original is much better. Pair her with her sister, get a big bonus. That's simple. Yeah, not much to talk here. Notable workers. Underflow, you must have LPP somewhere in the base. Quartz, the more different things your factories produce, the better she is. Vigil, Heidi and Exu. Arketo, but you have to max Storms. Chuchuk, Snow Sand. Multi-factory. Babel team. Got buffed heavily with the release of Walter. W sits in the training room, Ho is sitting in trading post getting 40% productivity, Ines collects clues while Amia, not Theresa, and Walter chill in the command center, buff trading post, clue collection and recover CC morale. Due to buffs from Walter, Ho's trading post can be used in Jay's team. Overall, relatively small team that can combo with other teams that don't eat up CC slots. Automation skill team. A team that looks weird from first glance, but in reality they are fairly straightforward. Automation skills turn off productivity of other operators in the factory and make power plants contribute to productivity in small amounts. This sounds counterintuitive until you realize that these stacks and 3 automation skills by themselves can easily reach 90% productivity. Note that these skills also cancel out productivity debuffs like Volcans or Banners, so that could be marginally useful if you really don't want to collect factory products more than once a day. Also, Pure Stream's skill doesn't get affected by it, and since she's technically doing the same but with trading posts, you can slot her into this team no problem, or just field her in a different factory that makes gold. Important thing here is that the team loses in productivity if you have less than 3 PPs. So in a less traditional setup, you are not going to get the most out of them. This team can be boosted in several ways. The easiest upgrade is slapping an E2 Grey Altar in one of the power plants to increase the PP count. Make sure not to have a robot in any of the other plants, cause they turn off Grey's skill. The other improvement would be sticking your Nectus in the command center and putting a Lancet in the PP. These two upgrades give the same amount of productivity boost, but Grey requires a little less setup. There is also a very weird way of combining both of them. If you're willing to sacrifice some drone recovery, you can pull off a dead Lancet strategy. Have an exhausted Lancet in a PP, Grey Altar in another one, and your Nectus in control center, with the automation team chilling in factory and getting +3 phantom power plants for their skills. Winflet or Passenger can be swapped for per stream. No idea why Zumama can't see a dead Lancet in PP but Grey can't, but hey, if it works, it works. In a traditional 3-3-3 setup, this team can put out up to 120, and a dead Lancet strat can elevate it to 150. On the final note, the upcoming 4-star Snegurechka is a solid addition to this team, replacing Winflet/Passenger. Music team. One of the most complicated combos for base, the other one being Sui Yan team, due to the amount of various resources being converted between operators. Soundless resonance, perception information into productivity and whatnot. In essence, this team allows you to get a supercharger Osmontes with productivity reaching up to 90%. On average, it's going to be around 80. Make sure to have all of your buildings upgraded fully. It's important for other PI providers like Iris or Whisper. And supercharged Ebon holes, going above 40%. You'll need Ling and Dusk in CC. Note that optimally Ling should be above 11 morale and Dusk below 12, but nobody in their right mind would actually try to optimize this bit. Rosmontes goes to factory, Ebon goes to TP. Note that all dorms must be full for this team to work. Dorms should have Virtuosa, Iris and Charney. Last two are nice but not essential. Try to use locked in slots so you don't have to constantly swap them in manually. And HR should have either Whisperain or Basiline. The former buffs both Rosmontes and Ebon. The latter buffs Ebon even more, but gives nothing to Ros. I'd recommend sticking to Whisper here because she works with both. This team can combine almost perfectly with Sui team, having only one point of contention, the HR slot. I would personally recommend choosing Mulberry if you're combining them, cause supercharging nothing is funny and bigger number makes brain go brrrr. Don't forget to put Psylocke and CC for this one. Abyssal Hunter team. Gladi and CC and other A hunters in the factory. Note that Spalter and Scouter don't count as hunters for base purposes. Only worth it if you have all of them. That bumps each hunter's productivity up to 40%. The catch is low uptime, cause Gladia drains her morale fast. Can be fixed with Fiametta, but I'd rather use her for Proviso or Mliner. You can theoretically keep her in CC and have her recover morale there, where you get your other hunters in Dorm. But while this gimmick sounds nice, in reality it's a big waste of a CC slot and needs a lot of management to optimize. Underflow can be a good side addition to this team since she benefits from all PP being in any facility but the dorms. Monhan team. Yalter and Neuerkorn Alter in CC and Terror Research Commission in either TP or Factory. Yatta and Neuer give the standard +2% to factories and 7% to TPs. And Terror Research Commission buffs the facility they're in. Best stick them in TP for that fat 41% bonus. Overall, nothing spectacular here. Blacksteel. Very easy one too. Jessica Alter in the CC, Vanilla, Normal Jessica, Almond and Factories. Can switch Almond for Mizuki and put her in a different factory to up the productivity. Sui. Another seemingly very complicated combo. Due to all the weird-ass resources they use. In reality, this whole operation is about generating as much worldly plight as humanly possible. For that, we are going to put Chongos, Ling and Dusk in CC, Mulberry in HR, Mr. Nothing in TP, and the rest of the siblings anywhere else not in dorms. Nian in workshop and you in training room. Do note that while Shu can benefit from worldly plight, she doesn't do the best job out of it, and you are better not using her in the factory. This allows us to supercharge Mr. Nihoya to get 95% productivity at his peak and 80% on average. Pairs well with Proviso. You can also put Ji-Yoon in the factory and have her give a healthy 38% buff. Night Team. Needs Vivi and Flametail in CC, Pinus, Sylvestris trio in a factory making XP, Justice Knight in PP and Gravel making gold. Gets very good buffs for XP production and combines well with Briofita team, since Gravel has a metalwork skill, and Mizuki plus Highmore team for reasons given earlier. Danmeshi party. Overall, mid team. Everyone must be E2 and Senshi needs to chill in the level 5 dorm, so the rest can be slightly above average workers in their respective facilities. Okay, now armed with all that knowledge, let's try to make a base preset and apply what we have just learned. This is going to be my account with the operators available here, and it's going to be a 2x4 fairly simplistic base. Everything here is for demonstration's sake. You will have to improvise with what you have on your hand. Okay, we go to overview and start with the control center and start with the biggest combo. For the first preset we're gonna use Sui, so Ling and Chongos go up automatically, and we'll have to add additional 3 Sui siblings to our base. Sailak goes here to supplement Mulberry in HR, as I already mentioned. Amiya here for fat plus 7 trading post bonus. I would use the Noircorn and Yato as 2 other slots, but Noircorn is unleveled on this account. And we'll add Viviana as a generic smiley skill. Add presets, preset formation, save. Now let's finish assembling additional Sui. Nyan can go into the workshop. You can be assigned to the training room. Mulberry goes into the office as part of a preset. And we have 4 siblings. If I had Dusk, she would be here. I'll probably have to use Shu, which is not that big of a deal. For the trading post, we are going to have 1 trading post specifically focused on Proviso, add Mr. Nothing, and since music combo partially overlaps with what we have with Sui combo, Ebonholz might be a good fit here too. In this battle record one we will use Shu, and let's just for now add a couple strong EXP boosters, Ground Slayer and Conviction. Here, for another one, we can use a Vermel combo. Cement, KOB, Vermel. That's the battle records covered. The other post is unrelated to the Sui combo, and we'll just use Chimere, Tequila, and Kafka. Golden Glow. For power plan. Don't forget to make presets of everyone. For reception room, there is no real need for presets if you're gonna juggle the clue finding chance, but since the clue rate up is kind of a scam, we can just make combos out of the strongest clue finders. In this case, it's gonna be Ines and Caper. Then we can add a preset and immediately turn it into, let's say, Valor Queen, and Typhon could be a good fit here too. The other 2 trading posts, we can use the Briofita combo, since I'm a madman who actually leveled him and E2'd him for the base. And the second post will use Resmontius, Pure Stream. We can just add a generically good worker like Totter or Asbestos. Don't forget to add a couple more good workers to the power plants. Turn them into presets. Make this a preset. Boom. We got our first rotation. we have to also remember that we can add a locked slot. Locked slots here are important because we are going to be using Virtuosa for Dorm 1 locked slot to buff our music team, well, our partial music team with Ross and Emenholz. For the second preset, let's add Cal, Ascalon, Delphine, because we're going to be using the Glasgow combo for the Reviso post again, and add Read the Flame Shadow and Cruz, because they're both altars and they synergize with Cruz's skill for morale recovery. Boom. Battle records. Here we can just make another strong battle record farming team because I don't have that good of a combo. For this precious metal team, we can actually add the automation team, because why not? And immediately we can add Grey Altar here to supplement the automation team. There he is. I could have used pudding for my second slot here instead, last slot instead of Viviana, but I don't really want to compromise drone recovery. But this is an option available here. Here we can just add a generically good power plant worker, and here we also add a generically good power plant worker like Lucilla. Here, nothing that we can really make out of here, so we'll just assemble the easy, tried and true, battle-tested penguin combo here. We also have 2 more factories to fill. Here I would use Lieutenant Aroma and Waifu if I had them upgraded, but unfortunately, such is life. Once again, just gonna have to use the more generic workers, like, for example, Jessica, Steward, and Perfumer. And in this EXP rotation, once again, all of those guys are taken, so just have to use a bunch of generically good operators. Could have used Ji-Yoon for one of my factory slots, but once again, not Etude. And don't forget that you can add the same operator into different combos. So here, for example, we can do Morgan plus Siege, and add a Proviso once again. This way, you will always have a Proviso on this post. All you need to do is keep her topped up with the amazing Fiametta combo. Bum, bum. She is fully operational, and you can now just click this and have her working. So now you can just switch between each one individually, or use the big rotate button when some part of this whole entire operation gets fatigued. So yeah, that's about how you do it. Part 4. Various miscellaneous things. Red rock farming isn't nearly as complicated as some people make it out to be. All you need is a 3x3 setup where one factory is making these out of these, and one trading post is selling them, while the rest struggle to provide you with enough LMD for this BS. Your bottleneck in this process is always going to be sanity and its immediate product, green rocks. This means that the effectiveness of your factory and TP aren't at all important. I tend to put whoever into the factory, and order limit increases into the post, so I don't need to collect orders as often. Workshop and crafting. There are 2 ways you can go about utilizing your workshop. The lazy way, or 9-colored deer abuse way. Let's start with the latter. 9-colored deer has to be one of the most broken workshop operator skills in the game, and it's thankfully obtained on E0. Causality works by accumulating points from crafting things that cost 4 or less morale and not getting a byproduct. The moment causality hits 40, you get a guaranteed byproduct. Naturally, you would want to accumulate the points on low-value recipes, like crafting green mats, and use the skill on a high-value recipe like purple mats. That's the ideal scenario, but its main downside is that it takes time and you need to plan your crafting over several cycles to maximize the profit. One of the areas in which 9C Deer truly shines is chip crafting. There's also a fun little exploit with carbon stick conversion. Costs nothing in resources and allows you to get 9C Deer to 38 causality to then exchange chips at a 1-to-1 rate, which is like beyond broken. As a side note, you'll need to do a full 24 morality loss craft, then spend another 14 to get to 38. Either use Fiametta to refresh 9C or just prep her in advance. Her E2 skill is rather unimpressive and on average loses to normal elite material crafters. Don't bother with that. If you're not planning to squeeze every bit of value out of our resident tier goddess turned workshop slave, or you're a recent enough player to not have her, worry not. You can still optimize your workshop. To gain the most byproduct, you must use the skill appropriate for the category. Elite material crafters buff these, building mat crafters buff these, chip makers buff chips. But the aforementioned 9C trick is much more preferable. And skill book printers buff these. On the topic of byproduct. 70 or even 100% may sound impressive, but keep in mind that the actual rate is deceptive and this is the actual number. For elite material crafters, there are certain ops worth mentioning. The material-specific ones here increase the values for a specific type of elite material, while these guys give you specific mats as byproducts when crafting tier 3, think recipes. Stainless and Irene can give you a whopping 100%, or like plus 20 in reality, if all your dorms are full of tired people. Well, Nyan achieves the same result without conditions, but can't really craft all too much. ADHD brain, I guess. Training operators isn't something very complicated and basically boils down to picking a trainer with the best bonus for the class you're training. Some ops get bonuses for training a certain subclass like Ayaberry or Shalem, and some get bonuses for training a certain mastery like W or Spalter. And if you have Ascalon in Command Center, she gives a nice 5% buff to the training speed. Several notable ops are Logos and Irene, reduces the training time after 5 hours, and Julie can charge his skill to get M1 instantly. Logos/Irene are 100% the best ones, and if you have them, you should be abusing them all the time. Basic procedure goes as follows. That's taken directly from the Google Doc. Thank you guys. Step 1. Have Irene Logos do all of the M1. Step 2. Have Irene Logos do all of the M2. That reduces time from 16 hours to 8 hours. Then step 3, have Irene Logos start M3, then replace them with the best M3 worker. Time has been reduced from 24 hours to 12 hours. That's kinda neat. Note that M1, M2 trainers can be used first, then swap Irene Logos for the last 5 hours to speed up masteries. However, it's just like, why bother? Clue collection is a very simple ordeal. The general strategy is to use the operators displayed on screen whenever you are missing specific clues, like use Cantabile Puzzle or Typhon plus Valorquin combo when you are missing more than one, and use the fastest operators Inez, Vigil, Chen, Caper, Suzumama plus Suzerain, or really anyone who has 25% or more written on their skill, for when you have all clues. Out of them all, Caper is the best and is good even at E1, but keep in mind that she is only good when you have active clue exchange. Out of the 6 stars, operators based Grandpa is the best, granted you have his granddaughter somewhere in the dorms. Keep in mind that there is the whole bunch of bonuses that are not skill related. Elite level, E2 is best of course, rarity 1 to 3 stars are the slowest, 6 is the fastest, as well as the total ambience of the dorms unit, like 4000 plus, all increase the speed of clue collection. This also makes 12F like the most useless operator in base, for his 2-star status means that even with his skill he provides less than any higher rarity operator on E2. Rest in peace. Several operators outside reception room can influence clue collection. In Control Center, Lazy and Arc increase the likelihood of obtaining clues for the faction. of the reception room operators, while Lee and Civilite Eterna give flat 25% and 15% bonuses accordingly. Same with HR. Mountain, Delphine, and Rasa increase Black Steel, Glasgow, and USSG clues likelihood, and Mr. Nihuya, Tsukinogi, and Insider increase the collection speed by roughly 20%. Some characters work best if they are the only ones in the reception room. Oda, Ho-Ho, Harmony, Kazemaru. First two getting a guaranteed clue 7 and clue 1 respectively, and the other two get fat bonuses to speed while alone. They also work with a dead 6-star, cause they still provide rarity and E2 bonuses. Final tip is for the trust-obsessed schizos like myself. If you want to maximize trust farming, make sure to log into the game like 10 minutes before the daily reset and swap all of your max trust operators and dorms for the ones whose trust level is low to get that sweet 1% more trust. Ain't much, but it's honest work. The addition of activity rooms is a nice boost to trust gain for like 6 chosen ops. And this thing is finally done. Took me like forever to finish. At the end of this whole shebang, I really wanted to thank people for making this shit happen. My editor, Alores, who compiled this atrocity into a proper video, Goblin Soup, my lovely future wife, for redoing and upscaling the base guide icons, Shimo for providing me with his account for a stupid proviso bid, people who made the base guide Google Doc, and everyone who helped with feedback on this monstrosity. This whole thing took probably like half a year or of on and off work to finish, and if you stuck till the end, I appreciate you immensely. Hopefully you found something useful here, or at least chuckled at the Solviso. Regardless, let me know what you think of this crime against humanity in the comments. Depending on how this does, I might do some more guides in the future, and at some point I will probably have to update this thing when Hyperglyph releases enough actually useful base operators, which doesn't happen often. Or I might do a comprehensive guide on medic ops, since I play Medic Knights. Yeah. Cheers and bless you all. Please like and subscribe and all that bollocks. Doodles.